What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on Peg City Hockey. Now, today, we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets lineups and defensive pairings going into the 2022-2023 season. Initially, I thought about breaking this up into two videos, but honestly, I've kind of really figured out what I want for this team as a fan and as as an avid watcher of this team, what I think, my opinion, of the best lines are and the best pairings, especially based on all the preseason. So I just said screw it and decided just to combine it all into one because what's the point in extending this and making two 10-minute videos about the same thing? Because I really do like these lines, and I want to put this content out for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. With that being said, drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and let's get into it. So the first lineup card that we're going to talk about is the lineup card that I would most be happy to see. So let's go through this. So, the lineup card that I think would be one of the Jets' best options going into next season based on preseason, is as follows. First line will be Nikolai Ehlers with Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele in the center. Now, the reason why I think I like that line and want it that way is because, in my opinion, that is without a doubt the Winnipeg Jets' top line with their top forward players on it. Obviously, you can make the argument for Pierre-Luc Dubois, but at this point in time, based on what I've seen in preseason, I think Mark Scheifele is still the better player as of right now. Last year, I was starting to think that Pierre-Luc Dubois was going to overtake him. He still might, I don't know. But right now, I have full confidence in Mark Scheifele being the number one center. Just right now, obviously, if we start to see bad tendencies coming up, then in that case, shuffle it up. But right now, I think every player on that line has experience. They've played together. They know each other's games very, very well, and they know how to complement each other's games. Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele have always had really good chemistry, and Nikolai Ehlers has been this wild card forward out there for a while that's had minutes on the first line and played stretches there, but hasn't been a number one lock for the last few years. And I really think that if Ehlers can stay healthy and is the top left winger on this year's team, he could be an all-star this year. This could really be Nikolai Ehlers' breakout year, finally getting an opportunity to play on a top line, because look how successful he's been just on second line and with injuries in the past. So I really like that first line, and that brings us to the second line, which is Cole Perfetti, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Brad Lambert. Now, a lot of people have Blake Wheeler slotting in here, but I think that for the Jets, in my hypothetical world where I'm the bench boss, this is what I would run this year, because unless Brad Lambert really starts to tank and fall off and show he's not ready, give him NHL opportunity. Because what's the point? If he really shows that he's not ready for it, you send him back down, you don't rush his development. But if he is ready, and what it looks like off of preseason, he looks like he could be closer than any of us expected, give him an opportunity. I think that he would play really good up there. Obviously, he got sent down, so it's not looking like he will, but I think that if there's an injury in that top six at all this year, Brad Lambert will be the first call-up and get a spot in there. So that's why I put him there in my hypothetical dream line, because I really think that will be the best, most dynamic version of the Winnipeg Jets top six in next year's season. That brings us down to the third line. Third line, I really, really like it this way. Like, I really, really like it this way. And even if Brad Lambert's on that second line, I really think Blake Wheeler on a third line like this could be deadly. And that is Appleton, Lowry, and Wheeler. Now, everyone on this line can check. Everyone is the same type of speed, so they can actually move together down and up the ice equally and not having to drag each other back and hold each other back based on speed. Lowry's a great net front presence. Appleton is as well, but can get in those dirty areas and score, as well as Lowry. Their games are very similar. And then Blake Wheeler being able to set those guys up, having vision, playing deep in the corners, throwing pucks out, managing passes to the blue line, net front shots. He's also still got a decent shot as well, and always has had an okay shot at times. He's a 20-goal scorer in his best seasons. I really think that would be a very valuable third line and could use Blake Wheeler to all of his advantages at this point in his career. Really like the way that would look, and I would love to see Blake Wheeler get some looks on that third line at any point this season, just to see how he would look down there, because even if it doesn't work out, I just want to see, because I've been thinking for years now that is the best spot for Blake Wheeler, making him play down there with Adam Lowry. And that brings us down to the fourth line. Again, I really like this fourth line. That is Sam Gagner with David Gustafsson and Morgan Barron. Obviously, Morgan Barron could play on that third line, and I think a lot of people have him on that third line instead of Blake Wheeler, obviously, but I think that line right there, you plug any of those guys in, they're going to be really, really good down there. Sam Gagner is like the second coming of Matty P, it looks like. David Gustafsson has been working super hard for a few years now to make this club and has battled injuries and is looking like he's finally going to get that opportunity. And Morgan Barron looked so good last year in the AHL and in the NHL with the Jets and Moose after that trade went down with the Rangers on deadline day, and I really think he's going to have a spot with this team's future going into the future. I don't know why I said it like that, but nonetheless, now let's talk about the actual lineup card that I think the Winnipeg Jets are going to be rolling out this year, the real one, the one that we'll see in night in and night out without any injuries, and that is going to be Nikolai Ehlers with Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor, the only line that stays the same based on the last pairing, so I don't need to talk about it. Now, the first changes we see is Brad Lambert coming out on the right wing on the second line, and Blake Wheeler coming in. Now, obviously a line with Perfetti and Blake Wheeler and Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to put up points. My only concern with this is that over an 82-game season, I do not think that Blake Wheeler will be able to keep up speed-wise and conditioning-wise with guys like Perfetti and Dubois. They are quick, especially Cole Perfetti, and we've seen it before. Blake Wheeler slows down all of his line mates, especially when you force him to play with elite skaters out there. He just is not an elite skater anymore. He's still a good skater, don't get me wrong, but with age, we all lose a little bit in our step. You know, it's life. It's just how it is. It's not a knock on Blake. So I think that this line will be effective, but it might not be the best down the stretch at times. But nonetheless, I still think Blake Wheeler could have a 60-point season on that line again because he's Blake Wheeler and he knows how to put up points and make good passes. The third line, again, really like the way this third line is. Even though Blake Wheeler out there I think would be great, I think Morgan Barron could be even better with an opportunity down there. I really think giving him more playing time could be better for his game. I don't know about this line as much as the Wheeler one in my opinion, but they're kind of similar as players, obviously. So Appleton with Lowry and Barron. We saw that last year at the end of the Jets season. Looked really good at times, looked really composed, really able to handle themselves well, and I liked the way that they played the game, and I'm expecting to see a lot of growth from Appleton and Barron at this point. Appleton, a lot of people are kind of writing off, but I think he could really bounce back to where he was before the expansion draft and going over to Seattle. Seattle really fucked up his development because he didn't have a role for him. They didn't know what his identity was. They didn't have an identity, and it really affected Appleton's game, and with every game after that deadline, he started to look more and more comfortable and getting more and more back into what he was with the Winnipeg Jets prior to the season before. So I'm having a lot of faith on Appleton, really hoping he can finally take a step forward and become a better goal scorer in the NHL. Fourth line, now this is the fourth line that I really like. Saku Maenalainen, who's without a doubt the hardest working guy in the preseason. David Gustafsson, the second hardest working guy in preseason. And the third hardest working guy in preseason, Sam Gagner. This line would be, in my opinion, perfect. Perfect fourth line. Like, even though my dream line, I didn't have Saku Maenalainen in, I really, really want to see him play with the Jets this year because he just earned it. When a guy comes in from Europe, has only played one season in the NHL, and even then not a full season with Carolina, putting up, I believe it was 4 points or something like that, not a very good season point-wise, comes in with the Jets after playing 2 years overseas, and looks great. Hell, he's definitely earned a spot on the team, in my opinion, and I know the coaching staff has a lot of trust in him, so I really like the way that fourth line looks with Maenalainen, Gustafsson, and Sam Gagner. A lot of good opportunity down there, could generate some good scoring chances, could hold the puck in deep, and just be a good forechecking fourth line with some offensive upside at times, as well as you've got David Gustafsson, Saku Maenalainen, who are great penalty killers who have shown that in the preseason. Very valuable additions to the club. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up what I think the best options are for the Jets forward core in the 2022-2023 season. Now let's talk about the defensive pairings. So for my first D-line combos pairings that I have, I've got Josh Morrissey playing with Dylan DeMello on the first pairing. Second pairing, Ville Heinola and Nate Schmidt. Obviously, you know why I've got Josh Morrissey and Dylan DeMello playing together. I should have said that because they've been the best pairing we've had for a couple seasons now. Ville Heinola and Nate Schmidt. Now, I really like this pairing. I think that Ville Heinola, his game is similar to how Nate Schmidt's offensive game is structured, and I think that he could learn a lot with him. He's a great character guy. Could really help him, give him confidence, because it just seems like Ville is just an awkward guy. Like I'm going to say a little story. Zach and Carter, they went to that preseason game where fans at the end, season ticket holders, were randomly chosen to go on the ice and have a photo with the team, and apparently Ville Heinola just looked completely awkward out there and scared shitless. Now, I'm not saying he's like some, crazy awkward guy, but he could be a little social, have some social anxiety. So what better guy to pair with than Nate Schmidt, the guy that can help you get over that? So I don't know. Again, I'm not speculating. I'm just going off of what a friend told me, but I don't know. I just feel like this could be a good vibe pairing for them and help them both grow their NHL game and also as a person to help better themselves in the NHL, which brings me down to the third pairing, a pairing I really like, Sandberg and Pionk. Now, they at times struggled, but I really think what it came down to is the fact that they really didn't play a lot together last year, and when they did, it was in limited minutes and then certain roles and opportunities. So if you give them in a full year together or more opportunity to play 5-on-5 hockey, I think they could really complement each other as well, especially with the fact that Pionk could really focus on the offensive side of his game more, and Sandberg, being a two-way defenseman, could really kind of make up for that with his size and defensive capabilities. But yeah, like the way this pairing looks. Honestly, guys, I really like the way all of these three pairings I have look on this. I've got 3 different types of D pairings that I'm going to be showing you, and I like them all. So, which brings us to the second round, which is, again, First pairing staying the same. Second pairing, Brendan Dillon with Nate Schmidt, and the third being Neil Vilahinola with Neil Pionk. Now, again, Brendan Dillon with Nate Schmidt, I think those guys are just a veteran pairing that know how to play some defense, even though I don't think Brendan Dillon should be on this club right now, based on with our young guys playing. If he is, I think that this will be realistically what we will see, or something along the lines of this. I know that Neil Pionk played okay with Brendan Dillon last year, but at the end of the day, I really think that Dillon and Schmidt would complement each other better. You got a more stay-at-home guy and a more dynamic two-way guy. I think it would work, but again, that's just my opinion. Third pairing, again, really, really like this, but I'm a little optimistic, cautiously optimistic about it. It's not as much as I am with the Sandberg Pionk, because Vilahinola is a very offensive guy that will make mistakes. Neil Pionk, don't have to say anything about it. If you know who Neil Pionk is, you know exactly what he is, and he's going to do the exact same type of thing Vilahinola does. So I don't know if you want two offensive guys in the same pairing together, even if it's a third pairing. Like, might not be a good idea. That's just me, though. We're going to move over to the last one, which is, again, first pairing staying the same. Second pairing, more like what we saw last year with Dillon and Pionk. And then this one, I have Villy coming out and Sandberg coming in to play with Nate Schmidt. Obviously, I want both of Vilahinola and Sandberg to play. So realistically, I think the best lines where we could roll out would be the line combo one that I showed with Villy playing with Schmidt and Sandberg with Pionk. I think that that's what I would like to see, trading out Dillon and keeping those two young guys in there with the decor. But at the end of the day, we're the Winnipeg Jets. We don't make trades lightly. So I don't know what it's going to look like. So at the end of the day, I really think realistically, without a trade, we will see a pairing similar to this final one of Morrissey, DeMello, Dillon, and Pionk with Sandberg and Schmidt. I still think Villy could definitely come in there and earn that spot over Sandberg, but I think that the coaching staff might see Sandberg and Schmidt as more as a reliable third pairing compared to the Vilahinola, which will cause turnovers at times because of how his offensive game is just so dominant and how he plays. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. The defense I really like, but at the same time, I don't really know what it's going to look like, because the only way you get these young, great players in is if you make a trade. So until that trade's made, we can only speculate. So this is my lineup for the Jets 2022-2023. Obviously, your goaltending tandem is Connor Hellebuck, the Vezina winner, and David Riddick, who has been pretty damn good. Big save Dave, looking good. I like it, but nonetheless, though, that's going to wrap up my thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets 2022-2023 lineup and deep pairings of what I think the best options are for this club. So why don't you go down in the comment section right now, let me know what your thoughts are on my line pairings and what line pairings you would like to see in this upcoming season. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Go down in the description, check out my Twitter, Instagram, and all the other affiliated links. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go! And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.